Quick PSA. If you have yet to watch Atlanta and don't want to be spoiled, you should save this video, watch the series, and come back to this analysis. Okay, here we go. Since 2016, Atlanta has been one of the best TV shows. Donald Glover created the dramedy and stars in the cast along with Brian Tyree Henry, Lakeith Stanfield, and Zazie Beetz. On the surface, the show is about two cousins navigating the music business, but really, the show is much more than that. The show is witty, surreal, funny, scary, unpredictable, and unique, showcasing social and cultural commentary through drama, satire, and criticism. It's Twin Peaks with rappers. It's also an idea of what it's like to be black in America. The first season was the debut, the introduction to the series. The second season was dubbed Robbin season, and season 3 explored the Curse of Whiteness. When doing early press for the third season, the writers of the show, Donald Glover, Stephen Glover, and Stephanie Robinson, dubbed season 3 as the Curse of Whiteness.
So Donald, I've seen you say in another interview that this season is about the Curse of Whiteness.
Oh, we want to tell like a Bible story or something that just felt like before Earth happened, like kind of thing, just like, you know, how we're all connected. I remember we watched some like CNN thing and this guy was talking about, he's like, to free white people from being white, and it was like just an interesting concept to us where it was like, oh, because it's so we were like in the writers room, like it's so easy to like see black people as cursed, like in society, being like, oh, like even when I was in high school, we did like Children of Eden, like, you know, like and like it was kind of, they played it that way, and it's very easy to see that. But if we're all connected and we're all the same thing and we're all working, it's like, oh, you're cursed too, like, but you wouldn't see it, which is part of the curse. And we thought that was scarier, like that we were like, oh, let's do that for a season and start to see all the things that like, oh, you can't see it, and that let that be the scarier thing.
In an interview with Vanity Fair, Stephen Glover said, quote, "The standalone episodes really were taking these big ideas and putting them into their own stories. The standalone episodes are really where we got into those big questions. The ones with the main characters are definitely on theme too, and have some of those bits in there. But with the standalone episodes, that's really where we crafted these big ideas and tried to distill them into the best story we could at the time." End quote. America and the world operate on this white and black structure. Everything good is white, everything terrible is black.
Show me the child who has the skin color most adults like.
And show me the child who has a skin color most adults don't like.
This is the programming that's pushed. Like the shirt Andre 3000 once wore. Across cultures, darker people suffer the most. The Curse of Whiteness will have minorities acting a certain way and saying certain things to gain favor with white people. It's understood that Italians and other white immigrants weren't always considered white in America. There are always people in every ethnic group and race trying their hardest to tap dance next to whiteness, wanting that acceptance. Different ethnic groups will marry someone white and assimilate a white identity. Even entertainers of color willingly want to be considered white for different reasons. One reason could be because of the beauty standards in the world. People with fair skin are treated differently than those with darker skin, and many go through great strengths to lighten or bleach their skin. Even Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, has been seeking white approval throughout his career, and his thing is more about money, power, and respect. Journalist J. Caspian Kang wrote a book, The Loneliest Americans, about identity and class amongst Asian Americans. A quote from the New Yorker Vulture article, The Mixed Metaphor, by Andrea Long Chu. For Kang, Asian American identity is a fantasy created by striving Asian professionals eager to reap the spoils of full whiteness, while hiding behind a relatively mild, disorganized form of oppression that pales, literally, in the face of systemic violence listed on black Americans. There are still only two races in America, black and white, Jay declares. Everyone else is part of a demographic group headed in one direction or the other. The Curse of Whiteness deals with the systems of whiteness, privileges, and advantages afforded to the white people in America, and ultimately, the world. Let's explore the Curse of Whiteness in Donald Glover's Atlanta. The opening scene to 3 Slaps, the first episode of season 3, is eerie, and it starts with 2 men fishing in a lake late at night, a white man and a black man. The white man is named Ern, just like Donald Glover's character. So we'll call the character White Ern. White Ern is a unique character in season 3. The black man in the boat with White Ern reminisces about when he was younger and almost drowned in the same lake. He explained that he felt like he was being pulled underneath. White Ern tells his buddy he probably was being pulled underneath because the lake is haunted due to a black town being drowned underneath it. The mention of the black town being drowned is a real life tragedy. The reference hints to the history of Georgia's Lake Lanier. The famous Georgia vacation destination was built over a black town where the residents were run off by racist violence, a la the Tulsa Massacre. Lake Lanier is also known for its yearly deaths, which many think is because of the tragic history. Many locals and visitors think Lake Lanier is haunted by ghosts, who sometimes appear and drag people underneath the waters. White Ern then gives a speech on the curse of whiteness.
With enough blood and money, anyone can be white. It's always been that way. But the thing about being white is, it blinds you. It's easy to see the black man as cursed because you've separated yourself from him. But you don't know. You're enslaved just like him. Cold whiteness.
At the end of White Ern's speech, his face changes to a monstrous demon-like figure, and the black guy is pulled underneath water by bodiless hands. Furthermore, we are brought to the character of Laquarius. A black kid is sent to an adoptive family of 2 white lesbians after a white guidance counselor called child services on his mother. Laquarius is now forced to live with this family, along with 3 other adoptive black kids, and the environment is off. During Laquarius' stay, he served uncooked chicken. The couple starts to call him Larry instead of his actual name because it's easier to pronounce, and the kids become slaves, initially working for the couple. What occurs in the story with the Laquarius character is a case of the white savior. The guidance counselor thought she was doing something by saving Laquarius from his mother, but she put him in a worse circumstance, and the adoptive parents believe they are doing a great thing by taking in these black kids, but they're really ignorant as people and bad at parenting. As legal guardians of these black children, they must know their cultural differences or attempt to learn and understand. You can't unknowingly raise these black kids in a certain way. The story of Laquarius is a retelling of Devontae Hart and the Hart family murders. Devontae was one of 6 black kids adopted by Jennifer and Sarah Hart, a white savior couple who drove their car off a cliff in 2018, killing themselves and their kids, a murder-suicide.
A family of 6 drove off of in March. Jennifer and Sarah Hart and 4 of their children died. They had lived in Minnesota before moving west. Yesterday, authorities were alerted to a pair of jeans and tennis shoe found not far from the crash site. They say that the shoe contained skeletal remains, which they believe may be one of the 2 children not yet found.
The children reportedly complained to neighbors about starvation, abuse, and racism in the household. Devontae Hart's body has never been found. You may have seen this photo online. It's Devontae, who went viral for hugging a police officer during a protest in Portland. The hugging moment is also mirrored in this episode. Luckily, a change of events happens. Laquarius and his adoptive siblings are able to escape before their adoptive parents drive their car off the cliff, only killing themselves. 3 Slaps was the first of several standalone episodes that didn't include the main cast. In the episode, Sinterklass is coming to town. During a stop in Amsterdam for Paperboy's tour, the team witnesses the Dutch people in blackface celebrating the racist holiday tradition of Zwarte Piet, totally unaware of their ugly actions.
What's with all the blackface?
Blackface?
Oh, nigga, stop acting like you don't know what black face babies.
No, that's Zwarte Piet. That's for the children. It's a long tradition passed on for many generations. So, actually, he's black because he fell down the chimney, helping Sinterklaas.
Oh. Okay, well, it feels like Santa's slave, but I respect the rebrand.
This is when the characters of Atlanta come to terms with their black identity overseas. It's the realization that globally, any place can be like America. Quoting Stephanie Robinson from Salon.com, there's whiteness in America, but then the whiteness abroad is a different flavor, specifically as it pertains to our core cast. When they do go to Europe, they are confronted with a different type of racism. When Paperboy refuses to perform because the whole crowd is in blackface, Earn relays the message to the show promoter, and the promoter attempts to attack Earn. The show promoter beats up a random white concert goer who is in blackface, thinking he's Earn. The promoter's white ignorance has him believing that all blacks look alike, a racist trope. The black paint on the random concert goer is darker than Earn's skin tone, and the wig doesn't match Earn's hair. It's clearly not Earn. But hey, what will you tell a white foreigner who's clueless, ignorant, and under the curse of whiteness? How can one not tell the difference between black paint and black skin? In the Old Man in the Tree episode, two storylines display two white characters under the curse of whiteness. While on an off day during tour, Teen Paperboy attends a party with upper class individuals. When Darius has a small interaction with an attractive Asian woman, a character named Socks overhears and mistakes the interaction with Darius as racist. Socks attempts to befriend Darius and embellishes Darius's incident with the woman, making it bigger than what it was by rehashing the events with the other whites at the party, ultimately getting them to turn on the Asian woman at the party. It's fake performative allyship. Elsewhere at the party, Paperboy plays poker with a wealthy white billionaire and his friends. They're seemingly friendly and want to take Paperboy's money by playing poker. When Paperboy wins the game fair and square, the billionaire man leaves with his friends and never pays Paperboy what he's owed. Paperboy contemplates how to handle the situation because this isn't Atlanta or America. He's dealing with a rich white foreigner and his white ignorance. The problem is the billionaire didn't award Paperboy his earnings. The thought of a young black rapper beating him in a game of poker made the billionaire act cowardly. Some whites don't want to see anyone of color doing better than them, even in a game. In the Big Payback episode, we follow a white man who's approached by a black woman who knows her ancestors were enslaved by his ancestors. On the radio, there's a story about a black guy who sued a Tesla investor because his ancestors were enslaved. The story is a part of the rise of restitution clauses, targeting white people whose ancestors were enslavers. Through the law, descendants of enslaved people can sue descendants of enslavers for reparations, which starts a domino effect. Shaniqua Johnson confronts Marshall about his family owning her great-great-grandparents for 12 years and says she's suing him for $3 million. Imagine if this happened for real. A reparations situation would be an absolute horror for white people who are descendants of enslavers. But that's nothing compared to the absolute horror black people faced for 400 years. White people would be furious though. It's the same reason that critical race theory is a hot topic today. A majority of white people don't want the truth being told of how America was shaped and founded in public schools for children to learn, so they ban books and write books in defense. This is what we call white guilt. Accountability is hard for some people. Trying to escape his problems, Marshall checks into a hotel, and in the lobby, he meets White Earn, who's just arrived from out of town and has misplaced his luggage. Earn guesses why Marshall is there and says they're in the same boat, just like many other whites in the hotel. Marshall says he hasn't done anything wrong despite his ancestors' past, and that white people don't deserve what they're going through. White Earn responds,
"We were treating slavery as if it were a mystery buried in the past, something to investigate if we chose to. Now that history has a monetary value. Confession is not absolution. None of us are perfect."
After White Earn speaks with Marshall, he excuses himself, walks out by the hotel pool, and shoots himself in the head. The episode ends with Marshall working as a server at a high-end restaurant where the general patrons are wealthy blacks. Marshall is one of the employees at his job that gets his portion of their checks going to restitution taxes, 15%, going to Shaniqua Johnson every paycheck. In the cancer attack episode, Socks is now cool enough to hang with Team Paperboy on tour. After a show, Paperboy realizes his phone is missing. There are 2 suspects, and by the end of the episode, Paperboy never finds his phone. It's revealed to the viewers that Socks stole the phone and threw it in the trash before Team Paperboy leaves for the next city on tour. The phone contained song demos that Paperboy needed after having writer's block for so long. At one point, when the team interrogates the suspect who may have had the phone, Socks gets overly aggressive and almost says the N-word. Socks inserting himself into the mix to try and help find Paperboy's phone when he was the one who stole it is a case of fake white allyship. In the white fashion episode, a white foreign fashion company is under fire for releasing a Central Park 5 sweatshirt. The Central Park 5 was a group of young black and Latino teens accused and convicted of raping and assaulting a white woman in Central Park, New York in 1987. They served sentences ranging from 6 to 12 years and later had their charges voided after the real culprit confessed to the crime. The fashion company being put under fire is similar to many fashion brands that have made similar mistakes. It's white ignorance. This is why it's good to have a diverse group of people from different races, ethnicities, sexualities, and faiths working for a company. With this dilemma, the fashion company enlists Paperboy to help them apologize to the public. When Paperboy gets involved with the Diversity Advisory Board, he witnesses how the blacks in the group exploit the resources for personal gain. Also, Darius is taken advantage of by a white British woman who accompanies him to a Nigerian restaurant. Darius shares various things about his culture while they visit and eat. When Darius returns to the restaurant on a different day, he finds the restaurant is closed. The white woman gentrifies the Nigerian restaurant, putting it out of business and starting her own Nigerian restaurant, even without being from the culture or not having the skill to cook authentic Nigerian food. The seemingly harmless white woman destroyed a black business. Darius is unaware if the Nigerians who ran the previous restaurant were well compensated. Trini to the Bone is about an upper class family dealing with the loss of their Trinidadian nanny, Sylvia, and its lasting effect on their child, Sebastian. For all the time the nanny has been in their child's life, the busy parents were ignorant of the cultural traditions Sebastian grew accustomed to, like not eating his breakfast without spicy mango sauce. In some instances, the two parents with high-paying jobs feel like caretakers instead of actual parents. They're usually not with Sebastian throughout the day, so they aren't used to all the small things he likes, like being walked to class instead of being dropped off at school. Sebastian also likes to be comforted while he sleeps with his back rubbed, and loves to sing a specific song called Sweet Tea and Tea. After the nanny's death, Sebastian's parents take in and realize how close their son has grown to Sylvia. At the funeral, Sebastian shouts Amen in unison with the other black Caribbean people, and the parents have a hard time understanding the accent and dialect of Sylvia's family. Even when attending the funeral, you can see Sebastian's parents' uncomfortableness in the inner city. The parents were ignorant of the cultural differences even when Sylvia was present. While under the influence of a weird drug in the New Jazz episode, Paperboy and Darius roam around Amsterdam. Paperboy loses Darius and is chased by obnoxious fans until he meets a woman who questions him about particular things in his life and career. This woman brings him to a place called the Cancel Club. After Paperboy ditches the woman and her friends, he runs into Liam Neeson at the bar. After meeting each other, Liam asks Paperboy how he got inside the Cancel Club. The Cancel Club seems to be a physical place for disgraced people and entertainers. Liam then starts to give an account of his real-life scandal. He once set out to kill any black man he could find because of a sexual assault of a white female friend.
She told me she had been raped, but she handled the situation of the rape in the most extraordinary way. But my immediate reaction was, I asked, did she know who it was? No. What color were they? She said it was a black person. I went up and down areas with a cosh hoping I'd be approached by somebody. I'm ashamed to say that. And I did it for maybe a week, hoping some black would come out of a pub and have a go at me about something, you know, so that I could kill him.
Liam recounts his mental state at the time and apologizes. Paperboy is happy that Liam doesn't hate black people, and then this happens.
It's good to know that you don't hate black people now, you know?
What? No. I can't stand a lot of you. Well, now I feel that way because you tried to ruin my career. I'm sure one day I will get over it, but until then, we are mortal enemies.
But then you learn that you shouldn't say shit like that.
But I also learned that the best and worst part about being white is you don't have to learn anything if you don't want to. Take it easy, Paperboy.
The character of Liam Neeson in Atlanta is similar to many other celebrities in real life when they're called out for ugly behavior and accusations. These celebrities all have the white privilege of not caring if they're wrong or right. Their apologies are performative, and they defend and justify what they did, as Liam does in this episode. It's the Curse of Whiteness. The episode Rich Wigga, Poor Wigga deals with racial identity. It's about a mixed race kid whose blackness is put to the test. This kid, Aaron, is half black, half white, but passes for an entirely white person. At the beginning of the episode, Aaron is playing a first-person shooter game with others online. When Aaron wins the game, his opponents who are black trash talk and jab at him for winning the game. They make excuses for losing the game, saying they're too busy having sex to get better. They also joke about having oral sex with Aaron's mom. Aaron responds,
"Why don't you two niggers go find your dads, okay? Get the fucking banana."
Then he logs offline. A lot to unpack here. First, there's self-hate with Aaron intentionally using the N-word with the hard R. Then there's the remark he made about the kids' dads. It's the perception that black kids don't know their fathers or don't have them. At this point in the episode, the viewer has no idea Aaron is biracial, so this scene comes off as a white kid being racist. It's possible viewers could have noticed Aaron's ethnic background if the episode was in color, but this one is in monochrome, black and white. Coincidence? While riding to school with his black dad on the radio, a story is reported of a cop killing a young black teen. Aaron's dad states trigger-happy cops are why he doesn't want Aaron hanging with his friends in a particular area. Aaron responds, "I don't think I have that problem." Aaron is self-aware of his looks and his privilege as a white passing black person. He knows cops wouldn't profile him, unlike other black kids. Aaron even tries to justify the cops' actions, saying the teen victim probably did something that warranted the shooting, like the black kid wasn't listening to the cop.
Cops always say freeze first. Just listen. Duh.
Aaron doesn't come from money. When asking his dad to look for a loan for college, his dad tells him to save up. When Aaron suggests a car for his graduation gift, his dad says he will take him to a restaurant. And if Aaron still lives at home after graduation, he must pay rent. When a black entrepreneur comes to Aaron's school, the man offers to pay the college tuition of all black students.
"I am going to pay every single senior's college tuition." Who's black?
After the announcement, Aaron's group of friends, who are all white, complain. When Aaron stops by the auditorium, you can see a bunch of kids all waiting outside the hall, prepping for their auditions to prove their blackness. Most of the kids are not black. The entrepreneur and two other judges are picking who's black by their standards. The test is not based on one's parents being a descendant of slavery or one's melanin. The entrepreneur is basing it on the culture of being black in America. The group of questions the kids have to answer is hilarious. It included questions like, what 6 things mixed with Hennessy? How long can chicken sit on the stove? And what soda is good for you? In all honesty, the set of questions doesn't prove if one is black, because black people are not a monolith. We do share similarities, but we're all different at the same time. But in Aaron's case, he's half black, half white, and has been coasting on his whiteness with no black friends. When Aaron takes the test, he fails. He's not even culturally black. in the eyes of the judges.
But my dad's black.
Well, then have him come here and then I'll give him the scholarship.
This isn't fair. You're not giving me the scholarship because I'm light-skinned?
You shut the fuck up. You my right. You white.
Have you ever heard of someone who isn't black being referred to as black, like Bill Clinton being called the first black president? Or have you ever heard people refer to someone black as white, or a minority being whitewashed? When these things are said, people are referring to a culture a person follows. To be considered entirely black would mean having physical and cultural representations. When Aaron rants to his dad about not getting the scholarship, his dad responds,
I mean, that's part of being black. Sometimes you don't get the things you know you deserve. So just charge it to the game.
Angry about the situation, Aaron Googles how to make a flamethrower to burn down his school. When Aaron gets to school with his homemade flamethrower, he meets another kid who's black and also has a flamethrower.
What are you doing? I'm about to burn this motherfucker down. He said you weren't black too. My parents are from Nigeria. I was born there, but I don't even remember. I'm from Lithuania.
I understand what he means. You're not really black. You have an entire culture to pull from. You know where you're from, you can trace your lineage, and you have a country to go home to. It's not really black.
Well, I'm blacker than you. You look like fucking Frankie Muniz. Think if I walk down the street in your neighborhood, they're not gonna stop me because I'm African? I have to take the bus here into some of this shit by the dumpster. But you just walked on over here in front of everyone. Keep your black card tucked, bro.
Listen, I really don't care anymore. I'm burning the school down. Excuse me.
With what? Your little bargain bin flamethrower? I'm burning this school down.
You know what? What if I burn you first? Oh wait, too late.
Was that a dark skin joke?
Aaron and the Nigerian kids start going after each other with their flamethrowers, running around the school, mirroring the first-person shooter game Aaron was playing at the beginning of the episode. Soon the cops show up, shooting the Nigerian kid and arresting Aaron. When the black entrepreneur shows up at the school, along with more cops, firefighters, and paramedics, the entrepreneur gifts the Nigerian kid with a scholarship as he's being put in a van to be taken to a hospital.
Well, before they wheel you away, just know one thing. Getting shot by the police is the blackest thing anybody can do. Make sure he survives, okay? Take him to White Grady.
You mean Emory?
White Grady.
Meanwhile, Aaron is arrested, being put in the back of a police car. 1 year later, we see Aaron working in a retail store, looking and acting completely different. He has a fade with a part, earrings, chains, and a hairbrush to brush his hair at all times. Even his posture and dialect have changed.
How are you?
I'm good. Good. How's ASC?
It's great. How's here?
It's all right. You know, same old shit, different day. You know how it goes.
Aaron is now culturally black. During season 3, while overseas, Van separates herself from her life back home in Atlanta. When she doesn't get the job she wants, she travels to Europe to figure life out perhaps. Ern doesn't know about Van's job situation or why she came overseas to meet with them, but slowly he witnesses Van acting weird, and slowly she drifts off overseas while Team Paperboy is on tour. By the season finale, we see her living the fantasy life of a white French character, Amelie.
We met when I was working at a restaurant. I was running the food, of course. He was the chef. And we met, and we were like magnets, you know? Passion magnets, but I know you understand.
By the end of the episode, she breaks out of her mental crisis and realizes who she is. There's a post-credit scene in the finale when Ern receives White Ern's luggage. It reveals two things. All the standalone episodes are connected to the same universe of Ern and Paperboy. Those stories took place in America while Team Paperboy was overseas on tour. The standalone episodes felt out of place, but with White Ern stuff reaching Ern, it brings everything together cohesively. And with Ern receiving White Ern's things, it symbolizes Ern becoming white. Remember at the beginning of the season when White Ern said,
With enough blood and money, anyone can be white. It's always been that way. But the thing about being white is it blinds you.
In America, being financially secure for a minority could be considered white, according to some people. Have you ever heard a minority referred to having white people money? In season 3, Earn is no longer broke, but a successful manager to Paperboy. Earn reaches a certain level of success that makes him quote unquote white. The "with enough money, anyone can be white" statement is essential. In the world, white is seen as wealthy and black is seen as poor. White means success, and when minorities get rich, they've acquired white people money, or they're white famous. And some become successful, losing themselves in money or social power. They start thinking and acting quote unquote white. But this is not necessarily the case with Earn. He's not seeing himself as white like the transracial kid in season 1.
I'm a 35-year-old white man.
Earn is just now able to benefit from the system. With money and power, Earn's able to negotiate money for Paperboy's bail. Earn's able to exploit a white man for repping a mediocre black artist. And when Van is accused of stealing, Earn falsely accuses a woman of harassment to gain hotel privileges. Earn now benefits from the system, and it continues in season 4. In the second episode of season 4, we follow two characters, an older white woman who's an inspiring children's book author, and Earn. During his therapy sessions, we learn of a recent family trip between Earn, Van, and their daughter Lottie that was ruined due to racial profiling by a white TSA worker. We also learn why Earn was kicked out of Princeton. While at college, Earn made a friend with a white girl named Sasha. They were both resident assistants. One day, Earn's crush invited him to a party, and Sasha offered to hold a suit in her dorm room that Earn needed to use for a job interview.
I go to the party. I come back. I text her to get the suit. No response. I text her again. No response. I text her a third time. Same thing. So it's hours before the interview, right? And I'm freaking out. So I'm texting her again. I'm like, hey, where's the suit? I really need the suit. And she just writes back, sorry, not around. I went downstairs. I knocked on her door. No one picked up. I went in there with my master key and I got my suit and I left. Big mistake. She told the dean and it became like a real thing. He's coming back saying like, oh, this is a suspension. And then it turns into expulsion.
So I'm guessing Sasha wasn't black.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
No one listened to Earn's side of the story, despite being a good student and a RA, so he was expelled. While we learn these intimate details about Earn, the aspiring book author is contacted to receive a book deal and representation. She's even given a gig to read at a local library, but things go wrong with the children, reacting to her negatively. It's then revealed that the inspiring author is the TSA worker who ruined Earn's family trip, and Earn pulled an elaborate prank to get back at her. He hired actors to play people who worked for a book publishing company that really didn't exist. Even the kids at the library were in on the prank. All of this to get back at that woman. The woman's humiliation is played on TV screens at a bar, with Earn and the actors celebrating. In therapy, Earn tells two stories of being wronged by white women. The TSA worker previously used her power as a white woman to mess with black people. Earn's family wasn't the first, and the girl Sasha from Earn's college used the white woman victimhood to punish him. But why? Maybe she was jealous? Perhaps she had a crush on Earn? Who knows? All we know is Earn was so petty that he had to get some get back.
So you did all this to hurt one lady. Hey, look, I'm gonna go to that Def Jam 3 machine because this nigga is tripping.
Earn may be forever cursed. What did you guys think of season 3 of Atlanta? What did you pick up on? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.